Now, on our feedback, we have.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Bon dia. Oh my goodness. You may have noticed a somewhat bumpy start to the show this morning, and there's a small divot in my forehead this morning. I got the shredded wheat hair going on. This has been quite a morning, I got to tell you. I haven't finished doing the ticker tape yet, which I will do in just a moment. Yes, it's asking. Okay, breathe. You might like to do this at home as well. It's always good, isn't it, to have a little bit of an out breath and then recharge oneself for you gumpers. And peace and joy and bon dia alegria to you from Carl Munson of expatsportugal.com here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream show and podcast. Now, it is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Owen Lloyd Martin, that's what I was just typing in until that disappeared from my screen. And we should have, fingers crossed, lots of lovely images and videos of Owen cooking. But the problem I've got at the moment is I can't even get him on a stable connection coming into the studio. So we had intended to talk to you and even show you, it's a show and tell this morning, how to make the old camel drool dessert, which doesn't sound very appetizing. I know I'm not selling it by calling it that, but the baba de camelo, the camel drool dessert, famous around the world and very delicious it is too. And we should have some images at the very least that I can share with you. And hopefully Owen here himself to talk about it and a few videos that he's made as well, because he went and cooked the Pica Pau. Do you remember I was talking Pica Pau on, which is not a put down or an insult. I was talking a lot of Pica Pau on last Friday in an attempt to convey to you the smorgasbord visual feast nature of the show and tying together lots of pieces like a potpourri of content on Friday. Well, he actually went and cooked Pica Pau over the weekend, filmed it, and wants to talk to us about it today. So Pica Pau and camel spit to follow. It should be the theme after 9 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to actually do that. So that's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put a ticker tape so you can see that. Let's have a look. I'm going to just call him the food alchemist Owen. And yes, how are we streaming this morning as well? Yeah, the reason I've got a divot in my forehead is because I put my headphones on rather hastily and smacked them against my forehead, and I think it drew a little bit of blood. Those of you watching in high definition will be able to see that. So the food alchemist Owen from 9 a.m. this morning. Your questions about Portugal, and I've got to put in there and Portuguese food, and anything else actually between us. Owen and I probably have over 10 years experience of living in Portugal as foreigners, as expats, and we'd be delighted to share with you, as I'm sure will the collective, the riot of gumpers that are here with us this morning as well. So those who've lived here for a while, some of them all their life, of course, some of our wonderful Portuguese friends here maybe they haven't been here all their lives. Maybe they've been away to work elsewhere in the world. But you know what I'm trying to say here? We have real, authentic Portuguese people. We have real, authentic foreigners and expats making their lives in Portugal. And we're here at your service on a Wednesday with Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. And it has a food flavor this morning, thanks to the alchemist Owen, who I'm hoping will be able to join us after 9 o'clock. So there you go. On the screen now, Ask Anything About Portugal with the food alchemist Owen from 9 a.m. Your questions about Portugal and Portuguese food in the chat, please. Let's see who's in the chat already, and let's see what's going on. And if you're having a similarly turbulent morning to me. Have you managed to injure yourself with your headphones this morning? Bon dia, Gumpers, says the banana slug James. We seem to have a little bit of a freeze. I think this will work itself out, doesn't everything? Bon dia, Gumpiers. Bon dia, Gumpiers. Yes, you are assembled here in front of your peers, you Gumpiers. Feliz carta todos, tudo bem, from Banana Slug James. Now, he's not just saying that for the good of his health. He's saying that for the good of your Portuguese learning. Please answer in Portuguese that very, very lovely question and a statement and a declaration of intent there from Banana Slug James. Tudo bem, todos. And bom dia, Carlos e todos from Moaz as well, or Mario, or Miguel as we now call him. And let's get straight into a Mark Twain quote of the day then. Yes, and I'm rich now when I think about it. I own myself and I'm worth $800. I wish I had the money. Then I wouldn't ever want anything else. What does that mean? I'm worth what he's got that is that his net worth. Yes, and I'm rich now when I think about it. I own myself. I guess that's the greatest riches, isn't it? A man or woman could ask for, to be sovereign and this above all else to thine own self being true. Is that what's being talked about here? Profundity early on in the show this morning. Deep thoughts of the day. I've got one. We've run out of those, haven't we? Oh no, we haven't. We do have a deep thought of the day. Oh, we're all over the place, and it's an Albert Einstein. I found one yesterday whilst looking at. We'll come back to Mark Twain in just a moment. I found one yesterday. Becky, a friend, Facebook friend. I don't even know if we've met in real life. We might have done back in the day in Devon, but she's on holiday in Portugal. And her deep thought of the day yesterday, as she looked out over Guincho Beach, was, we are not an age, we are an energy, or something along those lines anyway. It's not our age, it's our energy that counts. Yeah, that sounds better, doesn't it? It's not our age, it's our energy, which I think is absolutely right and may apply very well and true and square with the Gumpers right here, the right of Gumpers this morning. We do have a deep thought of the day, but I'm not finished unpacking this Mark Twain quote of the day yet. Yes, and I'm rich now. When I think about it, I own myself and I'm worth $800. I wish I had the money. Then I wouldn't ever want anything else. I'm going to need more help with that. What is Mark Twain saying there? That's gone straight over my head there, I think, or round the side or something. But that takes us to a T-Duck who's saying, Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers, by the way. Deep thought of the day. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Albert Einstein. What did he know, though, honestly? And James, it's all relative. James Moaz, that's Owen working the room before appearing on the screen. 6:30 is my favorite time of day, hands down. Is he doing yoga, hands down? Is that what is it a reference to his yoga that he does at 6:30? Dad, oh, no, nearly peaked early there with a dad joke. I'll mark that up for sharing later on. Is this a dad joke? 6:30 is my favorite time of day. No, I think that's just a statement. And it's T-Duck. It's not Owen there. But why are you saying that? I wonder. Was there talk earlier on in the chat, in the thread earlier on, that sometimes people are here really early, and they put things in the chat and then they disappear by the time we start the show. Maybe that's what's happened there. And it's actually quite a good statement, that, isn't it? I would like to think and would like to say that dawn is my favorite time of the day. I'm just never up to enjoy it. That's the problem. But whenever I've made the effort, and I used to be a postman back in the day, I used to get up at 4:30, I think, something like that, and I used to really enjoy it. Once my eyes stopped feeling like they were being rubbed with sandpaper, and I could keep them open, and had a shower and then jumped into the van and was off to work. It was lovely to be driving around rural Devon in the southwest of England at that early time. You feel like you have the place to yourself. Isn't it lovely to be up early and before everybody else is? Okay, that's another dad joke there then, isn't it? Being friends with the alphabet. Yes, I think it is. And an apology here. Scupa from T-Duck. But I'm sorry, but I've run out of Portuguese sayings. Perhaps I should recycle them. I see no harm in that. It's not as if let's put everybody to the test, T-Duck. Does anybody remember any of the Portuguese sayings? In the moment of hearing them, you'd have gone, oh, that's interesting. Yes, I see that's helped me with my vocabulary. But can you remember any of them? So let's see what anyone can remember of the Portuguese sayings. And yes, let's recycle them. Let's bring them back one at a time, and let's dissect them and help people with their vocabulary and their understanding, not only of Portuguese language, but the Portuguese idiom and the sense of humor and the sense of culture that comes from the wonderful treasury of Portuguese sayings. And I think we should immortalize them as well. Let's make some memes, shall we? Let's make some Gumper memes of the Portuguese sayings as well. I think they could be really good. So no harm in recycling, especially in this day and age when we're trying to save the planet, right? Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers had a lovely barbecue last night. Minister of Home Affairs, just home, put 7 mackerel on some cocos non-leaf salad bread. What on earth is Deagle talking about with his cocos non-leaf salad bread? That sounds a little worrying to me. That sounds like something that the World Economic Forum are trying to make you eat. Well, not so surreptitiously as it turns out. We sat out till after 9, started getting cold, dropped to single figures, just lovely. Blackbird sang us a love song, beautiful. A blackbird singing in the dead of night. Not in the dead of night, but at 9 o'clock in the evening over there in Belfast. That sounds beautiful. Did you record the Blackbird song for us there, Deagle? You're probably in the moment. And this is the trouble, isn't it, with wanting to record everything and share it with everybody, is that you might miss out yourself on the moment there. So yeah, fair enough if you didn't record it, but I mean, come on, Deagle, think of the rest of us next time when you've got that beautiful Blackbird song in not in the dead of night, but at 9 o'clock in the evening there in Belfast. Bon dia, baddies. Hey, look, bon dia, Gumpers. Looking forward to a lovely day. You might have heard the reassuring boop as somebody joins me in the green room. In case you've ever wondered what that sound was, and if you're looking at your phone as if it were an alert on your own phone, no, it's me and my technology making that boop in the background there. That's Owen trying to join us. And we were hoping for a massive feat of technology. And you know what they say about big feet. Yeah, massive feat of technology. Bringing videos and photographs, images to your screen. And we can barely manage to bring Owen to the screen on a stable connection at the moment. But we'll see what happens between now and 9. And I'll see what I can do to share with you some of the wonderful the wonderful process that he's been involved in and has been filming for posterity and for your delicious pleasure, it has to be said. That's what it's all about. He's made beautiful food such that you might as well. Or if you're thinking to yourself, I can't be doing with all of that, I'm just going to hire Owen and have him come round to the house and cook it for me. I think he's available for that sort of thing. Bon dia, Gumbos. Looking forward to a lovely day, and we'll see you at the meetup, Baddie. Yes. Meetup announcement. We are at Palmera. We'll be with Nelson, me and Mrs. M. Because the in-laws are here at the moment, the in-laws, the outlaws, however you would wish to interpret that, because they are with us. And actually, we celebrated the Dia dos Avós yesterday, Avós, and got the kids to make dinner for the grandparents and asked the grandparents about their grandparents, which was a wonderful thing to do, as it turned out. And it was actually more interesting to me and Mrs. M than it was to the kids, as they are only 10, 6, and 3. So yeah, the 3-year-old's attention span, he doesn't care about ancestors right now, but we found it fascinating, and we even had some relics that we were able to share at the table that had been touched by those people of some generations ago. So that was lovely to do that. Thank you, Pam, for mentioning that. And if you were celebrating a grandparent day in Portugal yesterday, I hope you had a great time. Let us know. I mean, you might have a picky or two to share with us. I've got a picture. Oh, yes, I was saying, wasn't I, that I went out with Mrs. M yesterday, because the in-laws are here and we're able to look after the kids for us for a moment. And we went down to see Nelson at Palmera, where we're having a meetup later on today. We are glitchy this morning. We're officially glitchy, aren't we? I think this morning. And I'm downloading some lovely pictures that I took yesterday down at the front, down in the bay at San Martino de Porto, that I want to bring with you. Oh, and my the elder dog, Peggy Pooper, she did a little dance for you all last night after dinner as well. You can hear her doing that dance right now, and I'll actually show you the pictures as well. I think sound of a dog dancing is not probably the most enthralling live stream material, is it? But I'm just, as you can see, downloading some material as we speak. Beautiful San Martino de Porto and the Smuggler's Tunnel, not a euphemism, that I captured some wonderful images of, and Mrs. M eating a great big cake, which she will not thank me for sharing with you. And a lovely flower, not unlike her. that I took a picture of as well. And let me bring those to you now. A little bit of a photo safari of San Martino de Porto Bay yesterday lunchtime. Thanks once again to the Rellies to the in-laws for taking care of business while we popped down to the seafront to enjoy this. And here we go. And before I went out, or was it after when I came back? Jimmy Choo's official portrait. Look at that Portuguese sky there. There is a sweet pea. The sweet peas are back in bloom. Jimmy Choo is behaving himself a little better and can be trusted to sit outside the house for extended periods now. In fact, I found him outside there the other morning. He'd been sat out there on his own, so he's growing up a little bit. He is still something of a rascal, that young fella there. But there's his official portrait for those of you who love Jimmy Choo, and I know a few of you do. Then me and Mrs. M went down to the seafront, and look at this. That's an ice plant, isn't it? With the beautiful blue behind it. Gives you an idea, doesn't it, the sense of the sunshine in the bay there. And then we walked, after we visited Nelson and enjoyed a cake. Well, I say we enjoyed a cake. Mrs. M pretty much had that to herself. That's her favorite cake. Should we ever meet at Palmera Cafe, that's the one she likes. In fact, reminds her of her grandmother. And of course, as I was mentioning, is Day of the Grandparents yesterday. So that was, yes, she didn't really want a great big cream cake. She was just honoring her grandmother in that picture. Then you can see the lovely bay, not too busy. Busy enough, though. Lovely atmosphere down on the seafront at San Martino de Porto yesterday. And then you approach the tunnel. Look at that. Isn't that a fantastic picture? Even if I say so myself, you're going into the tunnel there. And we were wondering about the origins of the tunnel. How long it had taken them to build that. And there have been modifications since it was first created. But look at that blue Atlantic sea and sky at the other end. And then when we went down, had a look, it was lovely down there. Turn back, and that's the picture looking back the other way at San Martino de Porto Bay. Isn't that lovely? Let me just do Owen, should we just do a quick sound check and see how good your connection is? Let's see if we've got you there. How are you doing this morning, Owen?
Stressed.
Well, that I can understand. It's been a little bit challenging for us both, hasn't it? But you've got a good connection, so we can at least have a chat, can't we, later on?
We can that, Carl.
All right,
and I can make you the the camel drool. I have the ingredients here.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we can go through. Yeah, all right. That's great, mate. And we've got some other photos that we can share, and maybe the connection will withstand the pressure of uploading videos as well. So I will be back with you just after 9, and we'll see what happens then. Have a green tea, and oh, look at that. There he is. He's got his Good Morning Portugal mug. A bit of deep breathing and a green tea, and all will be well. Yes, you know, we'll talk to you as well about that the incredible video that you captured of the smoke cloud at Valeria. Seems like a long time ago now, but how dramatic was that? Over 5,000 people have watched that. So we'll talk to you about that. And also a new initiative. It's not just food and Portuguese culture we're talking about, not just the Leiria smoke cloud of 5,000 views, but also a new project. I think to bring a little bit more love and light into the world and balance things up a little bit better. Are we going to talk about that too?
Absolutely. Projects Love, Life and Happiness. Absolutely, Carl.
Okay, stay tuned for love
over 77 members already.
How about that? So there's another initiative that Owen's starting up out of the goodness of his heart. We'll talk about that after 9. See you then, mate.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Love, light, and happiness. Who doesn't like a bit of that first thing in the morning? Isn't that what we're about here? So we sat out till after 9 with Deagle, didn't we? Baddies in and looking forward to a lovely day. Oh, that's what we got up to. Lord Gilchrist phoned me last night. And I got a call from Andy, Lord Gilchrist here. I don't know, it must have been getting on for around 11 o'clock last night. And I was thinking, what does he want now? So I didn't answer. I just sent him a message. Drunk? ? What? Why are you ringing me this late at night? Me and Owen are trying to download images and videos here. I'm trying to get ready for the show in the morning and maybe go to bed one of these days before midnight. He said he sent me another message. Pick up, it's urgent. So I'm thinking, is there a man caver who's in distress and we need to come to their aid in some way? Well, kind of. I turn on the camera and there in front of my eyes, a sight for sore eyes. Lo and behold, it's Frank in Lisbon last night, as you can see there. And Andy, Lord Gilchrist, found Frank in Lisboa last night. He's still asleep in the spare room. It's amazing what you can find here. The legend that is Frank who will be joining me on Friday. And of course, on Monday, the wine club restarts. Looking forward to that next Monday. It's the 1st of August already next Monday, and we will restart the wine club. So double dose. It's a Frank sandwich this weekend. Friday, you can see him with Mia, with me, and then on Monday evening, the wine club, the Good Morning Portugal wine club. Well, it's a food and wine club, of course, and I'm sure Owen will. We're going to have a busy show after 9, Owen, talking about the food and wine club as well as Love, Light and Happiness and Smoke Clouds and Camel Drool and Pica Pau. But Andy Gilchrist has Frank asleep in his spare bedroom. It's a bit like that movie, Misery. I hope you haven't tied him up in the back bedroom there and you're making him cook for you. I wonder. Stephen Wells also in this morning with a simple bon dia. Man, a few words this morning, Stephen Wells and Capricorn Chris. Thank you for your lovely message yesterday, Chris. Hola, bon dia todos. Faz do dia. Rocket by Herbie Hancock. 80s revolution in electronic funk. And of course, Herbie Hancock is a piano genius, a pianist genius, which is not an easy thing to say first thing in the morning. But there he is. He can tickle those ivories, can't he? A legendary and I would say a genius-minded pianist, Herbie Hancock. And of course, he would have come to the attention of some people who'd never heard of him via that route there of a little bit of electro funk in the 80s. And an amazing video, actually, made by a guy called... Was he Johnny White who made that video? Incredible animatronic, early animatronic video. Check it out. Not just yet. Check it out on YouTube. Rocket by Herbie Hancock. And he made a bass guitar for the bass player of a band that I was in, Johnny White, who made this. A nice little bit of a trivia line there for you. But well worth checking out that video. Herbie Hancock Rocket. That is our Pfizer do dia. That puts a little bit. That keeps the lead in the pencil. Oh, excuse me. That keeps the... That was like, did I say that out loud? I do beg your pardon. It's not as if I've had much to eat this morning, but something is trying to reassert itself. Pardon me for being rude. It was not me. It was my food. It just came up to say hello, and now it's gone down back below. Not a dad joke exactly, but a dad rhyme that you might say and teaches kids bad things. Sang his wee heart out. But Banana just sang his wee heart out. Oh, to the blackbird. And he was in full pelt. People would have paid good money to listen. Isn't it amazing? A miracle right there in front of your eyes and ears. The blackbird of Belfast. Bon dia, Gumper, Cindy B. Morning to you, Cindy B. And JC. Good morning to you this morning. And warms my heart and makes me smile. It's the simple things in life. We're talking about love, light, and happiness a little bit later on. It is the kids playing in the sand, the birds singing, the beautiful flower, the blue sky. Those are the things, aren't they, that make us truly happy. Underneath all that and everything else. Hoje todas a comunidade. Morning to the community from Laura P. Slick as always, Carl. Stop it. See, I'm doing my best here. Sad, and for that I apologise. Shall I do a Boris style apology? I'm really very, very, very sorry. For what happened earlier on. Bon dia do Armacel de Pera from Sanford, Rodney. Morning to you, Sanford, Rodney. How are you? 100%. Oh, 100%. Frank is chained up in the back bedroom and cooking and Lord Gilchrist's beck and call there. Ooh. Lee McGrady. Good morning, people. How you doing, Lee? Any news, Lee? Yes, Lee. Any news? Do let us know. Victoria Z. Hola, bon dia, kids. Carl, slow down. You are eating your words like a good Portuguese person here. Hola, bon dia, kids from Blue Skies in Portimao. Victoria, the prolific creator of beautiful imagery, and you have lovely photos, or some of them have been immortalized in the show blog, goodmorningportugal.com, if you want to see that. Some of the things that well, it's a fast-moving 90 minutes mostly, isn't it? And some links and photos and things like I like to immortalize them in the show blog. That you can if you want to subscribe to that, you can get those links and the lovely pictures, the highlights of the show really. And from Sharon Tanner. Now that's interesting. My in-laws are the Tanners, a relation here, and we're talking about Tanner ancestors, German band masters coming over in the 19th century or whatever and changing the course of history. Scottish people, Germans, Belgians, all in the mix here in the Munson Tanner household. And another one here, Sharon Tanner Hearn. Good morning from overcast Sintra. I think there are, no, not to be in any way dismissive, but there are probably quite a few tanners, aren't there, in the world? You leather beaters, you tanners, which I think is the derivation of the name. What about your lineage, Sharon? If you care to share, I should say, any of that this morning. And Tarek Al Sombati is here. People are drawn in by the Camel Drool and the Pica Pau this morning, but no, maybe not in Tarek's case here. Passive income must be approved in 6 months, or is it normal to be less than this on D7 requirement? I'm not sure I quite understand the question, but you've got to show passive income, a passive income requirement and savings for the D7. But your best bet is to return on Monday or just reach straight out to EI, as you can see on my screen there. EI, Asesoria Migratoria. Go to our business directory, Tarek El Sombati, and look them up, get in touch with them. EI or A, and Gilda will be back on Monday. Best to speak to the experts. I'm a facilitator. I'm a messenger who prefers not to be shot. I get in the middle there and make the connections. I suppose like a sort of cosmic switchboard. Ian Turner, God Squad tip of the day. Hold on just a moment. We've got something for you. Yes, take one of these after meals, if you will. Or take one of these with your breakfast in this instance. God Squad tip of the day coming right up. Let me first respond to this. Carl is flagging this morning. How very dare you? But it's true. It's a wacky Wednesday with Mr. M. And let's go back right now. No, TOTD, not MTQOTD. Is that a new kind of gender and sexual classification? No, it's Mark Twain quote of the day. God Squad tip of the day then, the TOTD. Blessed with acronyms this morning. I was asked yesterday how important stretching is for athletes. Sorry, this isn't. I thought for a minute this is Mark Twain giving us fitness tips. I wonder what Mark Twain's fitness tips were. I've done a great amount of exercise in my life, most of it in my mind. That would be Mark Twain, wouldn't it? God Squad tip of the day, though, from the mouth of Ian Turner and the febrile imagination. I was asked yesterday how important stretching is for athletes. Please do not approach random athletes and stretch them. They don't like it. Absolutely critical is the answer. But active before training, leg, arms, and swings, or leg and arm swings, I should say. You've got to get the inference right on that. And static after when fully warm. Yes, because the wisdom on this has changed throughout the years, hasn't it? You used to see people stretching and bending before they went out, puffing and blowing and getting ready to go for their run, but just a bit of swinging before you go out running is to don't get yourself too tired before you go out running with all that swinging. But yeah, a bit of swinging of the legs and the arms. Stop it. Please. Owen's making faces at me from the green room and putting me off my stride here. All that talk of swinging. Absolutely critical is the answer. Stick to the script, Carl. That's going to be the best, isn't it? Absolutely critical is the answer, but active before training with leg and arm swings, and static after when fully warm. So the bending and stretching of the calves and all those things, pushing against walls, that's what you do afterwards, I think. Now, thank you very much for that, Coach Turner, with a bit of bon vivant, gentle fitness there, growing old disgracefully with Coach Turner. Look, Carl, look at the hands on a clock, both pointing down. Lol. What does he mean? Is that a stretch? I think. No, it's not a stretch. Owen knows. Owen, come on. What does that mean? What's he talking about?
He was referring to T-Duck's comment earlier about 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, I still don't
understand. Hands down.
It's a dad joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go away. Unintelligent. An intelligent. Sorry, I just feel a bit aggrieved that I didn't get that. That's an intelligent dad's joke, isn't it? And it happens. I've given the game away there without playing the warning as well. So sorry to anyone else who was taken unawares while they were bending over, doing up their shoelaces and getting ready to go out running, and taken unawares by an intelligent dad joke there. We'll be back with more and back with. Oh no, it's not. You might as well stay here, Owen. It's 9 o'clock. Please stay here.
Oh, yes. Great. Good morning.
6:30 in the morning. Owen, I think an air of calm has returned to both of us now, hasn't it?
Yes, yes, just a touch, yes.
Yes.
all good.
Okay. And is this another reference I don't understand? I am flagging this morning. Or is
I
that
don't
just a
know.
statement of fact,
I think
possibly?
that's just a statement, Carl.
Just a statement of fact, staying up a bit too late. Yes, that's right. That's when people ring me at 11:30 at night and then keep me talking for half an hour. And yes, the first thing I did, funnily enough, it's almost like Pavlovian, this response. As soon as I saw Andrew and Frank's faces on the screen, I went and got myself a beer from the fridge.
Well, you've just spoken about the wine club, so I've just gone and got what's going to be my contribution.
Okay, let me just zoom in on that then, mate. What you got there? The Defesa. Okay. Esporão. Okay, yes. Esporão is a very respected wine producer here in Portugal. What would you like to say about that? Is that going to be a pick for later on this year? Because we
It is. It was actually a birthday present from a wonderful Portuguese lady that I know, and I was going to open it this week, but I've decided I'm going to try and pair a dish with it.
Okay.
So I thought I would leave it to the wine club.
Oh, very good. Okay. So you're stepping forward, are you, with a volunteering basically to lead one of the tastings with that particular brew there?
Absolutely.
Or fermentation, more of a fermentation than a brew, isn't it, when it comes to wine? Okay, mate. So we have advertised Pica Pau and Camel Drool here. Pica Pau takes us back to last Friday when I was trying to sort of convey a sense of the smorgasbord and the potpourri. Pica Pau is the name of the woodpecker here in Portugal, and it's also a dish, isn't it, that's often served in maybe a bar with beer, and it is Pica Pau, as in you can pick little bits of it. Tell us.
That's right.
Tell us more about it.
It's actually eaten with a toothpick. So it's not something that you. Although I don't know if we'll see from the video because Matty from Healthy Food Portugal came up to do the testing for me. Yeah. And we sat here. We sat at the table. Started with the toothpicks, and then because we couldn't get it in our mouth as fast, we went to the fork straight away and just continued. Yes. Okay. And I will actually say that Matty, your appetite is amazing, mate. Because it was actually for 4, and we did manage to finish it. We finished it all.
Yes, no, I've seen him eat 2 meals at a sitting. It's quite interesting. He came to the meetup, I think, once, and he ordered 2 meals. And I was thinking, oh, he's ordering, for someone else while they've gone to the restroom for a comfort break. But no, he sat and ate both of them, one after another, and quite efficient. He had a sort of a sense of German efficiency about him as well with the consumption of his 2 meals.
He certainly does. He certainly does. But he has admitted he's going to lose some weight.
Oh, really? We'll believe that when we see it. Because I think that when he first came to Portugal, he put on quite a lot of weight, didn't he? It could be, I don't know, I might be wrong here, but it could be 2 meals at lunchtime that might be doing it. And goodness knows how many meals for breakfast and dinner.
Perhaps.
Scientists do say, don't they, there is a connection between the amount of food you eat and how heavy you are. You might want to have a look at that, Matty. I don't care how heavy you are. It's your life. It's your choice. But he was sounding a little bit girly about it, wasn't it? I must lose a little bit of weight. Look at me with my big belly and everything. So anyway, let's talk more about Pica Pau. Probably quite a good way of managing your weight if you've got to eat it with a cocktail stick, I would have thought.
It is. It's quite a good meal. It can be time consuming because I had to pickle the vegetables the day before, before actually completing the full dish. I started on the Saturday and did with the pickle, and then completed the dish on the Sunday. Yeah. But yeah, Pica Pau itself. As you said, you was mentioning it last week, and it actually rings true with me because my brother, when I was much younger, was a bit of a bird watcher. And I went out with him one time, and the first bird I ever saw was a woodpecker. So that's what resonated with me, and that's the reason why I thought I would do it.
All right, so I've got a video of a bit of pickling going on, and we will find out if I have managed to share these in the right order in just a moment. But I think, can I share the video of the beginning of the pickling process?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that all right? Okay, this is great. Okay, so I'll just loading that up now. I've also got a lovely video of my dog, which I must set to music. This is the older, smaller dog. doing the electric boogaloo, I guess we could say. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna have to clear some. Yes, did you like mention of Herbie Hancock's Rocket this morning? You remember that?
Yeah, and I've got another. He's also an actor as well. He appeared in a film called Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. He was actually an Air Force general.
Well, I never. What? That's our Herbie Hancock, is it?
Herbie Hancock, yeah.
Well, I never. Okay, let me see then if this will load up. It might be quite a big one. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's going up. It's going up now. I might have to do these one at a time this morning. So this is the beginning of the pickling process, and it surprised me because you're using sugar in this. I mean, when I think first of pickling, I'm thinking of sourness, not sweetness. And actually, yes, I was when we were out yesterday shopping for the grandparents' honorary dinner last night. My lad loves to buy a cornichon pickle, but he prefers the sweet ones. Of course, and maybe we will find out how to make a sweet pickle here, because you should have seen their faces when the grandparents and the kids bit into those cornichons, and there had been no sugar in the process. It was lovely. Let's look at the beginning of pickling for Pica Pau pickling with Owen here, the food alchemist, live on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning from expatsportugal.com.
So welcome back. Time to get pickled. So here we have. Put a big pan onto a medium heat. And then what we're going to do? We're going to place the rice wine vinegar. 600 mils of the rice wine vinegar. 600 mils of the water into the pan, along with, just get rid of this, put the bay leaves in, the peppercorns and the rest of the sugar. Just move these onions out of the way. Don't need the onions right now. We'll add all this into the pan. And what we're going to do, we're going to let that settle and until the sugar rather has dissolved in the pan. Let that sit for a while. Going to give it a bit of a stir. So this is the first part of the pickling stage. This is placed over a medium heat, and we're going to let this go through till the salt has dissolved into the water. You're going to let that go for a while. This is the first part of the pickling stage. We'll just let that go there for a little bit, leave the spoon in. So Pica Pau. Pica Pau means woodpecker, and you would normally eat this dish with a cocktail stick, and we use a beef fillet or a cheek cut of beef. It can actually ask your butcher to give you the tail ends of the fillet. It'll be a lot cheaper, and that won't compromise on the flavour itself. So as I say, we're going to let that sit for a while until the sugar and the salt has dissolved.
There you go. So the beginnings there. We've got the ingredients too. 600 mils of rice vinegar, 600 grams of caster sugar, 50 of sea salt, 2 bay leaves. I want to ask you about bay leaves. Half a teaspoon of black peppercorns, 1 small head of cauliflower, bite-sized pieces. And that you're eating Pica Pau when you see the bits of cauliflower, don't you? And the diced carrot as well, the classic diced carrot from the 1970s almost. Never went away here, did it, in the Pica Pau? What are bay leaves about? Owen.
Well, they are quite flavoursome. I mean, it's amazing. I was surprised when I first arrived here in Portugal to walk past what I just thought was, a different, well, a hedge. Lots of people, in particular where I was in Pedrogo, Pequena, is that a lot of the farmhouses, the fencing is actually the laurel bushes because it's part of the laurel family. And I must tell you, with that, as I just said there, the recipe that I used was beef. And it was Saturday morning. I actually got up at 6:30 Saturday morning to go to the market before the rush, because I don't like too many people in a crowded place. So I went early to the market, and I made sure I had everything in Portuguese, and I was pronouncing everything before I'd left, for about half an hour, what I was going to ask for. And I actually went to a different butcher's this morning, that morning in the market, and I went up to him and I asked him for a piece of beef. And he looked at me, and then I actually showed him that I was making the Pica Pau, and he went straight away over to the pork loin. And I just thought, well, that's not red enough. That's pork. That's pork. And he came over to me and he went, and he said, how much? And I went, no. And I went, beef, beef, like that. And he went, no, porco. So just to make him happy, I accepted the pork, and I took it back. But it wasn't actually until I went across to the local spa there to get my peppercorns. I was talking to the lady behind the counter in regards to the recipe, and she actually said, well, actually, he's right, because here in Leiria, we use pork for our Pica Pau. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I wanted, because I had my mind set on doing it with the beef. I actually got some beef from another butcher and did the beef version as well. But yeah.
Okay, that's a lovely insight, isn't it, into a regional variation. And this is what you'll find across Portugal, of course. It's a good note to make and sound about Portuguese cooking. There is the kind of national archetype, isn't there? And that will be interpreted on a regional basis often as well. There, so
that's it. I mean, if we look at the pastel de nata, that changes, isn't it? Different in different regions, it's done differently. So I'm sure it's then that's the original.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I've noticed that the pastry can change around the country, and the delightful, the archetype, the national archetype, possibly originating from Belém. There, the pastéis de Belém is a very flaky, delicious pastry, isn't it? And a very light custard. And then I don't know, if you go into central Portugal, you're going to get a heavier pastry, possibly, or in colder climates, you're going to get a heavier, stodgier pastry and a thicker custard in that pastel de nata.
That's true. I was actually watching a lady that lives in Japan, and she speaks Japanese, Taiwanese, and Korean and everything else. And she actually went into the shop and she got a pastel de nata. Yeah. And obviously she mentioned Portugal, and I was like, what? Yes. But the pastry, looking at the pastry on the screen, it wasn't flaky. So, it's reached far and wide.
Yeah, it certainly has, and so it should. Had them last night with the grandparents. It was great. Okay, so pickling part 2 then. We'll go to a few comments, because people are making comments, would you believe this, about Pica Pau and other things. I mean, the Gumpers are a random bunch, aren't they? And I mean it very politely. But there are some strange comments coming in, just by way of a little bit of seasoning in our conversation here. There's filming on a beach in the Algarve, apparently. It's closed for 2 days. Looks like a big American blockbuster. I think that's just for Frank's return to the Algarve, possibly, closing down his part of the beach, like some sort of, gangster boss coming back and just gesturing for people to move to one side as he makes his way onto the beach. Antonio,
I've been to the capital to see friends. I've been to the capital to see friends.
That's right. And on Sunday mornings, you can approach him and ask for a favor, I believe. Is that right? Before the sun gets too intense.
But I'm not kissing his ring.
No, and neither should you. I know where it's been. Love the tunnel. Yes, who doesn't love the tunnel first thing in the morning? Nice one, Deagle. Tapada. Why do you think Banana Slug James is saying tapada this morning? Do we know?
I don't know. He's going to have to enlighten us with that.
Okay, all right. Come back to us on that. Oh, that's where we got to, wasn't it? Carl, look at the hands on the clock.
Tapada. Maybe I could be wrong. Tapada, similar to tapa.
Okay,
tapas type of dish.
Yes, thank you. Mark Twain quote there, he's making a joke about his worth, then saying it's all he needs, then making a joke, having the money. I still don't get. I don't know I'm flagging. I am flagging. It's official. I've failed to recognize a dad joke, and I don't know what on earth is going on with Mark Twain this morning. And yes, okay, T Duck, it's a dad joke. Visualize the clock at 6:30. Yes, okay, I've got it now. All right, yes, Andrew, well spotted. I'll start posting one saying each day and include more background. Well, there's no need to be patronized. No, that's not related. That's not related there. I enjoy the Portuguese. Yeah, we do want those. And the background on them, there's so much in those Portuguese sayings, isn't there? Because there's the vocabulary, there's the grammar, and there's the insight into the culture where, where somebody is saying something in a Portuguese saying like, it's better to poke somebody in the eye with a broomstick than to eat a banana before 6:30 in the morning. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Oh, yes. When it's explained to you, say, yes, now I understand it.
Oh, dear.
If you can find that one, that'll be great. Thank you. Oh, did somebody say the platypus in the microwave joke? I think they might have done here. Bill Withers, yes, of course. Who doesn't like a bit of delicious pleasure first thing in the morning? Bringing us back full circle to you and your food. Thank you, Victoria. Good morning to you. Oh, Moaz has deactivated. We were doing digital detox with Moaz. I deactivated my Twitter account, and now it's a good move. I've been off Twitter for a couple of days now. What a terrible place it is, because on the face of it, it's like, oh, I'm interested in that. That's interesting. How civilization is being taken down in front of our very eyes, and your favorite speakers telling you about it. But after half an hour of scrolling through that, okay, let's talk. That's a really good jumping off point for the Love, Light and Happiness, isn't it? The project that you're starting.
Absolutely.
Have you noticed? I mean, you and I, we like to know what's going on in the world, don't we? And we have our kind of particular flavors of narrators about what's going on in the world at the moment. But Owen, it can get to you after a while, can't it? Is that the founding influence of the new group that you started?
Yes, one or two, because I'll give you a quick instance. There's a gentleman currently on Facebook at the moment, and who's clearly giving out false information and false hope to people. Hopium, I think the term is called.
Yes,
and I actually challenged him online, because I just got to the stage. I like to watch these people just to see what they are saying. And I actually challenged him for his source, and I actually said, if you're going to post something online, please back it up with the material facts, with the facts. And he just said, no, I like giving people hopium, which infuriated me. And secondly, I've noticed as well is that just on Facebook alone, a number of friends have been posting about the depression. Which obviously concerns me. And I'm not there to give them a hug or to say everything's going to be okay. So that was another reason for me starting this, because I believe it or not, have suffered from depression for the last 3-4 years, but tend not to show it. So I thought, how can I possibly do something that would help people in some sort of a way? And that's where I decided to start the project Love, Light and Happiness, which is basically a Facebook group where people can join and actually post, whether it be inspirational quotes, videos, music, and just things like that, just to lift people's spirits, because I think in the current climate that we're in at the moment worldwide, is that we need this bit of support and happiness and sharing a bit of love between one another, and I've had a look online of particular groups, and I just thought, well, let's use the format of photographs, music, inspirational quotes, anything like that, just so people can share it and people can, hopefully benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think by some strange coincidence, I may have taken quite a useful photo. This possibly is how you could look at the world at the moment. It's a bit like that.
Absolutely,
or a bit like that. And it's really important to get that balance right, because I was saying this over the last couple of days. I've noticed how I've become more narky and sarky and snarky in my demeanor, kind of defensive and quicker to respond than I might like to be. And it's quite an insidious and slippery slope, that. And I think other people might want to put their hand up to that as well. We can get quickly drawn inflamed
I'm one of
situation.
those. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. And in particular, Carl, as you say, it's amazing that you say that over the last few days is that the number of people that I have spoken to, they felt exactly that. Is that they just feel as if they're at boiling point right now.
Yes.
You know, and they can't get to the light at the end of the tunnel because of whatever's there. So, like I say, that's the reason why I started it. And it's a public page on Facebook. Until I can find a better format to move to, we're going to keep it on there. You know, as I say, we're up to 77 people. I know we started that about 3 o'clock yesterday, so it's climbing. It's, you know, the rate is the rate of members is joining quickly. So anybody, you know, is free to come and join us on there. You know, as I said, one of the main rules on there is that, you know, no political posts or comments allowed. It's an automatic ban because you know, we're stepping away from what's going on.
Wow,
I'm sorry, but it has to be like that, because I think that's the mainstay of the, well, certainly the majority of people I've spoken to over the last 3 to 4 weeks is that what's going on politically wise, that it's doing their head in. And I just thought, well, no, let's get away from that and let's try and lift each other up with the good side of it. I actually sat last night watching one or two videos, and do you know what? I cried for a while last night, and it was really good watching these good luck stories. You know, that we don't see, and there's not enough of that now. I think we're constantly seeing at the moment the doom and gloom, and we need this uplift. I think we all need this uplift, regardless to the demeanour. But we need this right now, and it's something that if we can start now. Well, yeah, true, Stephen, very, very true. But we don't, you know, that's it. But you know, what you know, the aim is obviously if we can maintain that positivity and you know, we can share that between us all, it will carry on. It will carry on. You know, we want our future generations to take that from us.
Yes, well, yes, that's right. That's what being an elder is about, isn't it? Or a would-be elder. And we have to face that fact at some point, don't we, Owen? That you and me are getting on a bit. we might set some sort of example or hold some sort of space for the young uns to come into in a particular way. And it's about balance, isn't it? I don't think it's about denial, because this is an interesting issue that we've grasped on this particular show, isn't it? Not wanting to talk about something at a particular time in a particular context is not necessarily denial. You'd be happy. It's not like you're never going to talk about politics again in your life, is it?
No, oh gosh, no. I will talk about it. I'll talk about it at the appropriate time. Yeah. But I just think, you know, at the moment, you know, what I want to do is focus on the positive. Yeah. Because regardless to whatever news item we are seeing, in particular on the mainstream media, it always seems to be on the negative side. So
hell yeah.
Why I'm stepping away from that. Yes,
literally, hell yeah. And the other part of it, you mentioned depression and us being aware of our state of mental health. The sense I get, and tell me if this is correct or not, is that there was a time, and it would seem not so long ago, where there was a kind of quite a narrow bandwidth of being normal and happy. And we didn't really talk about what was outside of that, did we? And there were very interesting euphemisms decades ago, like, oh, he's a bit bad with his nerves at the moment, which meant, you know, someone was depressed or anxious. And we've come up with new medicalizations and diagnoses of these things. And then still that continued, didn't it? That you had to kind of be in the main highway of life. And anyone else who fell off that was kind of like a casualty to one side of the road, weren't they? But the sense I get now is that everyone, if you're depressed or anxious, you're still on the road. And is that the spirit of the group? Is that it's like you don't have to have time
exactly that.
That is just how you're feeling and being at the moment, and you're still part of things. You're not an outcast, separate, or needing some very special kind of unique attention.
Exactly that, because it has been, if I can use the phrase, medicalized. Yeah, you know, you're depressed, or you're labeled this, that, and the other. And I think that the best medicine for it is the people around you, the people that can listen to you, uplift you, possibly show you the way. You know, I think that's the way forward. And I think I'm going to go into it anyway, is that over the years we've kind of lost that. We've had that separation of not being able to open up to a close friend or a family member.
Yes,
and this is exactly the reason why I want to do that. So you can share it with other people that may be in the same or in the same way as you. I'm not going to say we all have the same sort of depression, because obviously that's different. But you know, at least you can open up and talk about it and have a listening ear.
Yeah, well said. I just gasped and a tear. I welled up. I've just seen this from Deagle. Look at this. He's going to start us off here, Owen. I would rather have a person's tears on my shoulder than their coughing on my shoulder. Oh,
exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
my
you,
word. Sheesh. Okay. I think we've got a few comments that will have come in as a result of the most recent part of our conversation, which this morning includes Pica Pau, the woodpeckerish snack, the Camel Drool, whose name I will give properly in a while. We haven't talked about the smoke cloud of Leria yet, which we will do, and now, of course, the Love, Light, and Happiness project, which you can find here. And may I respectfully suggest to you that you start a stub on our forum at Expats Portugal as well.
I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that. Hopefully, when my new laptop arrives, I'll be up and about, because I've seemed to be, well, I've not been on the forum since the conception, so I intend to come back with full effect.
Well, since the what? The conception? Did you say?
Since it started.
Oh, I see. So I thought you were mentioning, like, since, you know, the birth of Jesus Christ.
I would have said immaculate.
Yeah, fair enough. There it is on Facebook. And for those who are digital detoxing away from Facebook, Owen will start a stub for the Expats Portugal forum as well. Or anybody couldn't they, if they're so inspired this morning. And we will pile in there. We need to come back to recipes in just a moment, and we will answer that question about caster sugar, because it's a good one about buying sugars and creams and so on in Portugal. It is a bit different. It has to be said. And let's just resolve for the time being anyway. Project Love, Light, and Happiness. My favorite quote says, "Gavo is always darkest just before it goes completely black, or was it just before the dawn?" There you go. Light at the end of the tunnel kind of metaphors there. Thank you for that, Gavo. Great to have your company, and we know that he is a safe pair of shoulders.
The wizard.
The wizard. What a pillar, not a pillock. What a pillar of our community.
Absolutely.
As well. Oh, there to help people in exactly the way you've been talking about this morning. We know and love that man, and we see you, Gavo. We see you, mate. And here's a Portuguese saying, not about poking yourself in the eye with a stick before 6:30, but quem vê caras não vê corações. The person who sees faces doesn't see hearts. That is also connected to what we're talking about, isn't it? Authenticity, reality, the full bandwidth of being a human being, not brushing bits of it under the carpet or sending it to the doctor. Let's have it out right here. People need to engage more with nature, says Deagle. Remember lockdown, people went outdoors, sat around in the calm of life. Outside is free, beautiful. More need to go out and look around. Well said. And what better place to do that than over here in Portugal. A quote from Anita in Lisbon. Morning, Anita. If you have nothing good to say, say nothing. Yeah, and maybe, you know, if you've got nothing good to read, Twitter, then maybe don't read as well. And this is very moving, very moving. I'd rather have a person's tears on my shoulder than their coughing. I've never heard that before, and I saw it like, that's like another Antonio F. to Anita in Lisbon. It's another Portuguese saying, yes, calado es poeta. When you're silent, you're a poet. Oh, my word.
Beautiful.
Hold on. I need to screenshot that so I never lose
Thank you, Antonio. That is beautiful.
Or as Ronan said, you say it best when you say nothing at all. As well. I think, imagine singing that to a girl. You say it best when you say nothing at all. And she's going, oh,
when you say it best. When you say nothing at all.
It's a boy band. Let's get Garvo. Let's go on the road. Interpret all those classics with a bit of wisdom and philosophy between the tracks. But I was thinking some women might think they have like Ronan or their fella singing that to them. You say it best when you say nothing at all. It's like, oh, that's so nice. And then hold on a minute. I say it best when I say nothing at all. Is he telling me to shut up?
Get out!
What's wrong, love? Nothing. Consumer alert this morning. Amazon Prime is raising the subscription price in September. I just renewed at the current price. Thank you for that.
Nice one.
What's with the big paws? Jimmy's front paws is a good. Oh no! Stop it, Maxine. We don't need that. I think it was the perspective of the shot. I think he's fully grown now. Are the testicles also an indication of how big he's going to grow? Because you might be right. I've never heard that though. 28 days left in. Owen looks down quickly. 28 days left in Facebook jail. Diagnoses are labels that become identities. Nobody is broken or disordered. Thank you, James. Oh, fantastic material this morning. You know, for a moment, Owen, when you and I were pretty stressed at 8:30 or 8:27 this morning, we hadn't to get anything together. I was thinking this show is going to be a disaster in the back of my mind. I didn't want to say that to you directly, but
I was thinking the same, Carl. I was thinking the same.
And now look,
I was thinking. In fact, I was thinking. Should I get a crisp packet and rattle and just say, look, reception's going. I'm going to have to cut off, but I didn't.
I'm going into.
Carl, you're there.
Turned out beautiful, missus. It's turned out beautiful. Nice out this morning, so I left it out. Okay, back to seriously then to recipe. Stop it, Owen. I know what you're doing there. This question has already been answered while we've been rabbiting on about love, light, and happiness here. Refinado. Okay, so tell us about buying. Oh, was it something I said? He's gone. Okay, I'll go back to the chat then. Oh no, he's back. Okay, so refinado, is that what we're talking about here for Johnny? Yes, we are. Branco de cana, cane sugar. There, azúcar branco, the one you would generally buy in the shop with the big piles of sugar. That's a normal granulated sugar. The finer sugars, you know, I know Mrs. Emma's put that sort of sugar in a grinder and taken it down to a
I've done that as well with the normal granulated, but when I asked, in fact, this is what I got from the Spar on the Saturday morning. This is what I went in for, and okay. I was looking all around, and I was sent to a different part of the store. But this,
okay, hold it up to the camera. Let's have a look. Refinado is what we're looking at there, isn't it?
Okay. Refinado, exactly.
Okay, Johnny, I hope that helps. Anything else we should say about sugar? And because you know,
honey, you were my candy girl.
We really should.
And you got me one time.
This boy band ideas of ours. We're not boys anymore. We're elders, as we suspected earlier on. So an elder band. It hasn't got quite the same ring to it, is it? An elder band going around.
What New Kids on the Block? It could be old men in the pub.
Old Giffers down the pub. And we're not going on tour. You're going to have to come and see us because it's a bit difficult for us getting in and out of the tour bus these days and sitting still for long distances. So, you know, you'll have to come to the pub to see us. Okay. When you got to go, you got to go. What's happening here? Oh, okay. Owen, don't go away. Don't go away, man. Just go away. I think conversation, we need to rein in now. Where did we get to with the cooking?
We were going to go to pickling part 2.
Oh, yes, I didn't play that yet. Okay, so here's pickling part 2 then, and we'll play this for you now. 3 minutes of this as well, while we also do some bit of deep breathing and compose ourselves and touch in on that eternal source of love, light, and happiness that dwells within all creatures. Here we go.
So, as you can see there, the majority of the sugar has dissolved. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to increase the heat on the pan to bring it to the boil. Just going to wait for the water to come to boil. And then once the water has come to the boil, I'm going to add the carrots, the onion and the cauliflower to the water. So now, as you can see, we've reached boiling point. So at the boiling point now, we'll add the carrots, the cauliflower and the onion into the pan. And as soon as you have that, you can just give it a quick stir there. What we do then, as soon as it has come through the boil, let it come back to the boil just for a quick second or two. So what you would normally do at this stage, when it has come back to the boil, remove it from the heat and then transfer it to a bowl to cool, along with the liquor, of course. I'm going to make this the day before the Pica Pau. We complete the full Pica Pau dish. That will be in 24 hours time. So you can actually store this once it's done. You can actually store it for up to 2 weeks in your fridge. But if you are going to store it in your fridge, you can put it into an airtight container. So once again, just waiting for this just to come up to the boil, as it's doing now, as we see there. Nicely done. So what we'll do then is turn down the heat. Remove it from the heat there, and then we will transfer it into this here bowl. Like I say, with all the liquor there as well. Everything in. Last few bits of carrot, the smell. I wish there was smell-o-vision. It smells really good. Add the carrots. All the liquor. All the pickling liquor. Into the bowl. There we go. And I can just set that aside now, just for it to cool down. So, join me in a little while for the completion of the Pica Pau dish. Coming up next, I'm going to do our dessert.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there is the Pica Pau pickling part, and it does sound like something a Portuguese superhero might say in a comment. Pica Pau, Batman.
Ow!
Okay, so
I did say there about storing it is that you can store it up to 2 weeks in the fridge and just use it as a pickle, but in an airtight container. I would say use a glass container. Ideally, when you can buy the tins out the jars of the beans. If you wash them out and sterilize them, maybe pop them into there, and they'll still last for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're doing that. I mean, those bean jars are really great, aren't they? And you can even use them in your workshop as well. You can screw the lids to the shelf, and you can screw them in like that, can't you? Like a light bulb. Exactly that. Okay, so that's the pickle part. The meat. Let's come to the meat of and gravy of the recipe, so to speak. Are you cooking this live? Is that going to work, or are you going to just talk us?
No,
through this?
I'm not doing that. I'm sure. Did you not have the video for that one? Is that the one we've missed?
No, I'll find it. Don't you worry. And
I'm actually going to do the baba de camelo.
Okay, all right. What I will find the. So we're talking about the browning of the meat, so to speak, aren't we?
It's just literally the finishing off of the dish, where I put everything together the day after.
Right now, while you're telling us about this, I mean, it was only about a week ago, wasn't it, that we were horrified to see your video from your balcony?
Yeah,
a week 10 days ago. It seems like an age ago, doesn't it?
It does.
Talk us through that, because I put it. You very kindly allowed us to share it on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel. 5,000 people plus around the world wanted to see what was going on in Leiria. Frightening bit, I guess, is that you're in the city there, aren't you? And you were seeing this smoke horizon. What was going on there?
Well, it's strange. I mean, as you know, I arrived here in 2017, and I was evacuated twice because I was in the Pedrogo Grande area when the massive fires went off there. Yeah. And my thought, obviously, with now being in a city, is that it wouldn't get that close. And obviously, hearing all the fire engines go, came out to have a look. On a couple of days beforehand, just to the left of the castle, which is that way, there was a fire there which did actually spread. And then, as I say, 2 days later, I was doing my fire watch. And first of all, there was just a plume of smoke in the distance there. And obviously, that's the first mention that I said to you that there was a fire going. And I kept my eye. I was observing and making a note of the fire the fire crew that was in attendance. And then that same afternoon, another fire appeared on the horizon some distance away. Which literally the air for just all the way across. I don't know if I can just turn this around without anything going off. I'm not going to do it actually. I don't want to do that. But
it was going so well. It was going so well.
Yeah. So literally all the way across. If I was to look out of the big windows here, it was all the way across, and you could actually see where the second fire had started. Yeah. So I mean, as the comments said on the YouTube pages, there's nothing really to worry about within the city. But you know, sometimes when you see things of that magnitude, you start, you know, especially my brain started to work overtime with that, and obviously the thoughts of the people in and around the fires, you know, in the areas where they went off. So it was quite a scary thing. In fact, late last night after speaking to yourselves, I received a comment on Facebook regarding a post that I'd made, and it was referring back to the National Geographic documentary Witness to Disaster, which was about the 2017 fires. And I actually posted the interview that I did with Canadian Broadcast News. I actually did an interview with them as I was evacuating, right? And that was broadcast. And it was a couple of Portuguese people made a comment about it. You know, it was political, so I'm not going to get into that. But a couple of comments were made, you know, and thanking me for putting the post online, because it was one of the things I will say that I was questioned, as the mainstream media do. I was questioned to say, I think the lady asked me, or the reporter asked me, the news reporter asked me, what would you like to say to the Portuguese authorities about these fires? Which kind of took me back. And my natural answer was, I don't. I just want to make sure that everybody's safe and well.
Kind of too soon, right? There's a time and a place.
Exactly that. You know, mainstream media tends to bait people, and I think that's exactly what she was doing. But I never took it, Cal.
Yeah. You know, we can all do that job. It's easy, isn't it? Just how angry are you about this? What?
Yeah, exactly. Well, calm down. Look, I'm escaping.
Yeah. There's definitely a time and a place, and there are things that could and can and still need to be done. But yeah, my goodness, you know, and they're there, aren't they? I mean, you know, I have some sort of affinity in a way, and not a good one, but you know, as somebody who talks to people in the abstract in the way that journalists do. But you know, there's a time and a place for standing there with a microphone asking people stupid questions, and there's a time to put your microphone down and take some water to the Bombeiros.
Well, I think that the level of it alone is that it was Canadian Broadcast News that contacted me because they'd seen my posts on Facebook.
Yeah. This guy looks pretty angry. Get in touch with him. Okay, let's turn. Thank you for that update on that. And thankfully, we're still experiencing hot weather. That seemed to be the kind of worst, not the worst, but a really horrible start to the wildfire season. It kind of sobered everybody, didn't it, to the reality of what's going on. And it sits subsequently. There have been blazes, and they have been resolved and are either in resolution or conclusion, as they say on the fogosh.pt website. So don't drop your guard, folks. Stay alert, be aware, stay safe, please, with this. It was a very sobering reminder of what can easily happen.
And don't forget your grab bag.
Don't forget your grab bag. We've made a number of videos now to support you in that, you know, the things you need to be aware of and the resources available. Let's return to Pica Pau because it's 9:45. I'm not even sure if we're going to get to the dessert here. That we might have to come back and do the dessert another time. But here is the thing. Oh, you got it there. That smile on your face tells me we are going to be enjoying a bit of camel drool. Let's resolve the Pica Pau then, shall we? Look at him. He's getting ready there. Pica Pau video coming right up now.
Yes. So we're browning this up in the pan, getting nice and brown there. What I add next is the ham. Stir that around once again. keep turning it around in the pan. And add in pickles. Once again, the cucumber, carrot, cauliflower, even the bay leaves as well, because they've been in the pickle juices as well. So that goes in. Also add the gherkin. Give that a nice stir around. Add the onions. So a nice stir. Let that go for about a minute or so. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little bit of the pickle liquor into there. Keep that on. Also, touch of dry white wine. This is the white wine from the Alentejo. Keep that going. Just give that another minute. And then what you do, take it straight over to the table. Take that off there. And then you finish off with a little bit of parsley on the top. And there you have it. Pica Pau. And I'll see you next time.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. If people, I'm sure there are people thinking, I need the recipe. I want to see this again. This is all on the Food Alchemist Facebook page, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
From
So
start to
that's
finish.
where you can go and find and follow Owen there. Shall we hear? I'm going to play so that we can. Oh, that's Jazz FM. Sorry, that's not what I'm meant to be playing right now.
Jazz FM, right.
I've got nice. I've got Matty's response to. So many tabs open. That's part of the problem in this day and age, isn't it? I'm still shutting those tabs down. Here's Matty's response. I noticed you paired up some Preta Superbock there. Is that right with the Pica Pau?
Yeah, you can. It's best served with a beer. You know, yeah. I would put it down like almost like, I'm sorry to say this, Portuguese people, but like a Spanish tapas dish. So yeah. Pair it with a beer.
Okay. Tapada is nothing to do with tapa or tapash. Is the Tapada National Park. And we've got beautiful pictures. Thanks to Banana Slug to finish the show. We're probably going past 10 o'clock this morning because we've still got Camel Drool, Baba de Camelo to enjoy this morning. Here's Matty's response though to the Pica Pau as we resolve the Pica Pau part of the program today. Come on, Matty, where are you? I can see a lovely. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That's delicious. Let's try something else. The cauliflower.
That's been pickled, yeah.
Ooh,
That's great.
Cheers. Cheers, Matty.
he seems quite critical, doesn't he?
What else? Carrots?
He's German. Why not?
Oh, of course, yeah. Sure. Say no more.
It's quite difficult with the carrots because it's all the small pieces, but
I
go
got
for it.
meat as well.
Go for it.
See how good. Yeah, he's
The old
got
gherkins.
the flavour now, as he's going in.
Nice. It's great. Mix of flavors. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Matty.
And now the test if it fits the beer.
There we go.
Yeah. Works nicely.
Cheers.
Look, he's like, he gives you a quick review and it just keeps eating, doesn't he? Thumbs up.
Yeah, he does. He
Yes.
does. There
Yes,
you go.
Matty. Thank you, Matty, for your
Cheers,
lovely
Matty.
reviews there. Yes, I think it's safe to say he enjoyed that. And you say he just wolfed the rest of it down soon after.
Yeah, I took it in a fair bit. I mean, I was pretty tired by late Sunday afternoon, so I had my taste, I had my fill, and then left Matty to it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Matty, for your excellent review there. Seemed very serious, didn't he? Oh, Suzanne's here as well. Good morning to everybody from Suzanne.
Morning.
So I think that just about sums up your excellent interpretation there of the Portuguese classic Pica Pau there. Thank you so much for that, Owen. And we're going to move on to some dessert now, aren't we, with the incredibly named Camel Drool, or as it should be called. Tell us the proper Portuguese name, if you will.
Baba de Camelo.
Baba de Camelo. So Baba presumably being spit or drool, Camelo being the camel, of course, and known around the world as the Camel Drool, and much to the amusement of tourists and people visiting Portugal. And it does make something of a reference to the texture, doesn't it? There you go. So what are you going to do? Are you going to talk us through this and serve it for us and taste it for us and tell us how delicious it is? Really
what I did, I got some digestive biscuits, some walnuts, some condensed milk, which you can either caramelize if you're just getting the natural condensed milk, or you can, obviously we know that you can now buy the caramelized condensed milk as well. So that's much easier to do. Yep. So what you would do is you would separate 4 eggs between the whites and the yolks, make the whites, whisk the whites until you have stiff peaks, and then you would then beat the egg yolks together and add, add the egg yolks to the caramelized condensed milk.
Yes.
Once that is done, you would then buy yourself something which is really good for the brain. And if you look at them closely when you open them up, they do look somewhat like the brain, the good old walnuts. Yes. So you would toast some walnuts as well. And then for the dish itself, you would first put in some digestive biscuits.
Marvelous.
Along with some walnuts. Then you would go to the said, I'm going to move this so it's not going to spill on my lap.
Very good.
The old Camel Drool.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
And you would place it in. And what I would say with this as well is that when you have made it, is to put it in the fridge for a while. Not only just for it to settle, but it tends to knock the sweetness down because obviously condensed milk is rather sweet.
Yes.
So if you put it in the fridge for however long you like, really. I mean, this has been in since Sunday, and it's tasting a lot less sweeter than it did on the Sunday when I first tried it. In fact, I did actually take 2 glasses over for the manageress and one of her staff members at the local spa across the road for them to have a try, and it went down a treat. Beautiful. And I know she's working today.
Yeah. So she gets another one.
With a couple of others. So I'm going to take some more over as well. So once you have filled your glass,
Beautiful.
You would then, once again, top it with the digestive biscuit and finer pieces of the walnut on the top.
Oh,
and there
fantastic.
we have Baba.
Hold on a minute. Let me just give you a close up there. Beautiful. Oh, loving that. Okay, so I have got some photos. That's beautiful. I would so love to be eating that right now. You've got some ingredients here. Oh, that's you. Oh, that's the salty part of it, isn't it? Let's talk us through this. So you've separated the eggs. You've got to do that. haven't you? Okay.
Yeah.
And here in the bowl we have got. Is that a finished mixture?
That's the caramelized condensed milk.
Caramelized condensed milk there, the saltiness to go in,
and the salt. Now,
yeah,
I didn't mention that though because I'm quite into the salted caramel at the moment. Yeah. I think what you can do is just sprinkle a little bit of sea salt over the top, either before you put the walnut and the digestive biscuit on, or just put it over the top of the biscuits as well. Because once you've got that mouthful, that caramelized, that saltiness there, it just adds another. And also tames that sweetness down a little bit as well.
There is something about sweet and salt, isn't there? And caramel and salt there. There are the walnuts that you mentioned, said to be good for the brain. They look like it, certainly, don't they? There you are. You've shelled and breaking down the walnuts there. There's a separated egg yolk. I'm sure you'll have your technique videos. I guess separating an egg will be one of your mini videos that's going to be up on your website.
Absolutely, that's another thing that's coming next. I can promise by the end of next week the website will be up and running with all food hacks, full recipes. Sorry, I'm just eating this.
Stop it! Yeah, look, we've had stiffened peaks, we've had browned meat, and now we've got toasted nuts in the pan there. And what's this? Oh, yeah, those are your powdered digestive biscuits. Now, every decent, I think every kitchen should have a packet of digestive biscuits, and just sometimes with cheese, and occasionally as the basis for a fantastic dish like this. And I love it. You're wearing your heart on your sleeve. There you are, an Englishman abroad cooking Portuguese desserts and taking them to Portuguese people over the road in a shop. Your heart is on your sleeve. Your heart is on your cooking whites there, which are actually black. And you're gonna get some feedback from a lady in a local shop. How great is that?
Yeah, I am. I'm going across in probably about half an hour's time after I've tied up and put everything away.
Superb, mate. Okay, so Camel Drool, there it is. And it is, of course, Baba de Camelo in Portuguese, something you can ask for and enjoy. And Owen, the link to your resources, please. What's the best way to find that? The Food Alchemist on Facebook. Will people find it
on Facebook? I'm on there. I will, like I say, by the end of next week, have the website up and running.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for my laptop. So that'll be up and running with, as I say, with food hacks, food recipes, and links to GMP as well.
Nice one, mate. Okay, so Owen's Food Alchemy is what I've got. Facebook.com Owen's Food Alchemy. Is that right?
That's right. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Let me stick that into the chat now. We've got some other lovely images of Tapada National Park to come. And we've got a few more comments I suspect you and I should share and have a look at here, probably about the Camel Drool. But there you go. There is the link to Owen's page on the screen for you now and in the chat. Yum, Owen, says Victoria. Sharon says, thank you for sharing, Owen. It looks delicious. The easiest way, this is an engineer speaking. He loves these sort of engineering parts of cooking, doesn't he? The easiest way to separate yolks from egg whites, crack an egg onto a small plate, use an egg cup to cover the yolk, and tip the white into a separate bowl. Is that a bit over-engineered, or would you agree with that?
No, it's one of the methods. I use the crack open the egg, put it into my hand, let the white drip through, and I've got the yolk.
Sensual. And you can use the eggshells as well, can't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. In particular, one of the big tips is when you get bits of broken shell into whichever dish, whether it be the yolks or the whites, is rather than using a spoon, because it always falls off the spoon, use the shell. Yes. Because obviously it's attracted to that.
Very good. And who doesn't like a big tip in the morning? Never heard of caramelized condensed milk? I could eat that on its own. And people do. Remember in the 70s in Belfast, putting a spoon into a can when watching old relatives cooking. Oh, what a lovely memory. And that's what a place where a lot of people took inspiration, didn't they, to become cooks and chefs themselves, is seeing the old rellies cooking. This dish looks fantastic, says Suzanne. Wonderful flavors. Thanks. I will make this. We'll join your FB page. Fantastic. And so true. Empty belly brings no joy. Is that another Portuguese saying? Because it might as well be. Empty tummy brings no joy. I think it might be. All that was missing from that meal, it was me, says Deagle.
When you're over, Deagle, I'll make sure I'll do it for you.
Let's get together. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, superb. I'm going to be hungry before my swim and after it. It makes you hungry, doesn't it? Looking good, says Chris B. Good morning to you, Chris B. And yes, we were talking about fires, weren't we? And to stay vigilant. Big fire in the Algarve. Deagle watching from Belfast. There's San Marcos da Serra. It's the hot weather and the conditions that make it so, I'm afraid. So be careful out there. And the sound of that cooking. I was enjoying that. The sound is so great, isn't it? So maybe you could do that on your YouTube channel. It's just the sounds of cooking. Or
yeah. Absolutely.
Sadly, as you said before, you can't smell food in this medium yet. Elon Musk.
Yeah, it will happen. I'm sure it will.
Project Camp did a great video about the cause of fires and what people can do about them. Project Camp, it's not what you're thinking. Gary, you would be left speechless if you could see how much of Western Alvarezra has been burned, Owen. I might do an outside broadcast in that area because it said, yeah, we need to see.
No,
to be reminded, don't they?
Gabo knows how much I love it up there. He really does. It took my breath away the first time I took up to the Alvarezra swing, and it's an amazing sight. But I don't want to imagine. But
we're going to see some footage and a reminder to Gary there to put some clothes on before he goes out to film that. I'm so sorry I started that rumor in the first place because I don't think he thanks me for that. Here's a question for Owen. In America, I made our bread and it vanished quickly. Here we get it at the bakery. It lingers longer and gets green and fuzzy. Ew. Can we? Well, there's two parts to this, aren't there? It shouldn't last long enough to go green and fuzzy for one thing.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. The bread is that nice here, yeah. But I know exactly what you do mean, Sarah. But the first couple of times, but I've started. In fact, I do have a video which is going on the website about making the bread, which is lovely and soft and lasts for days and doesn't turn into an ice hockey puck.
Oh. Yes, eat it quick is the best answer. And I think probably earthenware, the sort of storage that allows some breathing, but not too much damp, if that makes sense. And stone is often good, isn't it? And me and Mrs. Emma, go on. A bit like,
in fact, you can get a German Romtopf cooker, which is literally it's a clay pot with a lid. And what you do, you soak it in water for a couple of hours. You put the ingredients inside, put it into the oven, and then it's done. So with a Romtopf, you could actually do your bread in a Romtopf and leave it to cool down. And it's a sealed unit, so it would last a lot longer if you kept it in the Romtopf. Is
he playing in the World Cup in the German squad this year or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What a finish! Yes, Germany! Okay, Owen, thank you so much, mate. Thank you for your update on the what happened there. The video people can still see on YouTube. Thank you for starting Project Love, Light and Happiness. You can find Owen, friend him up anyway on Facebook. Go on,
what I will say about the Love, Light and Happiness is that obviously I'm looking for somebody to help me with the administration of that page because I have other irons in the fire, so to speak.
Oh, I see.
So it would be lovely if I could have just a little bit of assistance with the page if I'm not there to do it myself.
All right, admins required then, and do bring it to the, if you will, to the
forum.
to the not Facebook, to Facebook and to the expat.portugal.com
Will do.
Community forum. That'd be excellent if you would do that. I think I've got another video of yours to play, which is the bringing together. If people want to stick around for the Baba de Camelo desserts, we've got a video for that. And we've got some pictures from James from the Tabada National Park, because Deagle said people should get out in nature. And we do have the most extraordinary pictures from James, who did that yesterday at the Tabada National Park. And I'm hoping he'll put some details in of that as I share these with you on the screen now. And I'll find Owen's video, hopefully, for the end of the show. There's Mrs. M. I don't know if you saw that earlier on. I'm sure she'd have rather had some Baba de Camelo there, but there she is enjoying a Portuguese pastry. Lovely day. Coutinho de Porto yesterday. Let me just bring these pictures on from you then, from Tapada National Park. These are superb. Oh, and yes, one just in from Lisbon as well. I think this was from last night rather than this morning, but here's our man.
Frank!
In his natural environment, as he sat behind the beer. So from Lisboa to look at this, wonderful pictures. Stefan apparently took these. Thank you for sharing them with us, James. Beautiful pictures of the Tapada National Park, which I'm guessing is not far from where you live in Ericeira. Why did the wild boar? Did you see all of this yesterday? Wild boar crossing the road. Beautiful blue sky and that lovely vegetation there. Look at the color scheme, the color palette there. And a lovely look through the woods where a banana slug would be very at home. Now, that's a native Portuguese woodland by the look of it, a little bit more resistant to the fires.
That's good to see. That's good to see. There should be a lot more of that. I think that with the fires that have happened, Carl, I think the law should be changed that the eucalyptus and the pine should be replaced with the indigenous trees that were originally there.
Well, yeah, that's a good point and well made, sir. Obviously, when you look around Portugal, I'm thinking of the Busaco National Forest, National Park. It's an old, established and indigenous woodland. It copes better. That's not to say it never catches fire or gets storm damage or anything like that. That is a cycle of nature, of course, isn't it? But they do stand a better chance than a whole load of massive matchsticks, basically, stood up. As the eucalyptus plantation is like a vertical matchbox, isn't it? We're all standing there, it whips up into a firestorm, and it's
well, they do say that it's something called, is it called spotting? But they do say that when the eucalyptus burn, is that the ashes can travel up to 10 kilometers, and that's where you get your consecutive fires afterwards. That was on the National Geographic documentary.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Thank you so much. Well, I was thanking you for everything you've done this morning, but mainly for your lovely food that you've shared, of course, as you do when you join us once a month. Pica Pau this morning. Yes, I think Stephen did make that joke. What does a Portuguese superhero say? Pica Pau! And I have got a final video to play, so we'll go out with this. Yes, this is lovely. This is the a bit more Baba de Camel Drool action here. Cheers, mate. Bye for now, and we'll see you next month. Have a great day, and all the best.
Ciao, ciao.
And happiness. Ciao, ciao. I'm going to bring the video onto the screen for you now, and then go out with in our customary way. See you at the meetup if you're going to be there. See you tomorrow with Vitor, our man in the north, and of course Mia and Frank, who you saw in the picture there on Friday. Here's a little bit more cookery video for you. We know you love it, featuring the Baba de Camelo. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Adios.
So here we have all the ingredients for the Baba de Camelo, the caramel walnut mousse. So we have 397 grams of condensed milk, caramelized. We have 100 grams of digestive biscuits, 50 grams of chopped walnuts, and they've been roasted. 4 eggs that have been separated, obviously the whites and the yolks. Join me for the next step shortly.